Yo, welcome back to our Week 2 NFL preview here at Trippy Commentaries. I'm RJ here with K-Mac and Mike. We have made it to Kansas City at Denver. Kyle, is there any chance in hell that Kansas City wins this game?
Well, actually, RJ, Kansas City is getting Dwayne Bowe back, so no, there's no way in hell. No, I'm going Denver all day. I think they have, 13-point favorite
13
there,
and a half,
so 13 and a half. Yeah, there's no question. Kansas City's defense, they didn't look very good last week. Of course, they lose Derek Johnson, which is going to be a major blow for him.
Oof.
And
Mike DeVito.
I think this is the week that Monty Ball is utilized more in Denver's offense. I think he's going to have a big week. And, they'll probably be able to throw the ball all over Kansas City's secondary.
It's a tough spot for Kansas City here, Mike.
Yeah, I like Denver, obviously. I think they're going to pass it all over Kansas City, and we're going to see, another solid game out of Peyton Manning. Going with Denver.
Going out on a limb there, Mikey. Yeah, I think we're all picking Denver to pretty much kick Kansas City's ass here. Kansas City looked terrible last week. That's not a good sign heading into this matchup. All of a sudden, that puts them 0-2. They lose a couple of their key defenders. They used to hang their hat on defense. Now all of a sudden they're one of the worst in the league. It's just not a good combination here. I like Alex Smith, but he's not a guy who's going to be able to outscore other teams, and especially not outscore Denver. I think we all like the Broncos big. 13.5 is a lot of points to give them, but I think they'll probably pull it off. Chicago is traveling to San Francisco. Sunday Night Football. I would like Chicago a little bit more if it was in their stadium, but I don't really give them too much of a hope. In San Francisco, of course, they lost to the Buffalo Bills last week.
Yeah, well, I'm not too sold on Chicago. I like what I saw from San Francisco last week. I thought they played well, but Chicago, we're starting to see the same old Jay Cutler again. He's getting pressure on him, and he's making mistakes. And you can't do that. San Francisco's defense is going to be coming hard for him. So I don't see Chicago getting into San Francisco and actually pulling off a victory.
Yeah. Chicago has the weapons here. They've got a real good offense. So they should be able to do something, but I just think that their defense is not too good these days. You add San Francisco's really good defense, which is going to be able to keep the Chicago offense in check for the most part.
Yeah.
I think Kaepernick has a pretty good game here, leading San Francisco to the victory. Mike, I can't see you picking Chicago.
No, can't go with Chicago here. San Francisco looks solid. Kaepernick, I think Crabtree's going to have a good game here. I think he's going to finally be healthy and come through for San Francisco, and we're going to see them win.
I look for Vernon Davis to do well again.
Yeah.
He got 2 touchdowns last week. Kaepernick is going to have a pretty good season here, guys. And everybody was kind of burying San Francisco. I heard some rumors before the season that Jim Harbaugh might be traded or fired, which just makes no sense whatsoever. They just about made the Super Bowl last year. They're one play away.
Yeah.
They decided to go after Richard Sherman on the last play. Not the smartest thing to do.
Nope.
You might want to take your chances somewhere else. But needless to say, I think they win this game, and I think they are going to once again be one of the best teams in the league. They look locked and loaded to try to compete with Seattle. Let's face it, they can't be an average team. They have to be a great team, because if they're not, then they're not even the best team in their division.
Nope.
The Monday Night Football game this week is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. Pretty interesting victory last week. On paper, it doesn't look too bad. 34-17, nice lead.
Yeah.
But they were down pretty big to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nobody saw it coming. The Indianapolis Colts are the home team. They're the favorites by 3 points. They were losing pretty good to the Broncos. Actually caught up and looked like they could maybe even sneak out a win in that game. It was really crazy.
Yeah.
I look for them to actually look pretty good against Philly and possibly give them a beating.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this Monday night matchup. I think these two teams kind of started last week off the same. They both started slow, and then they came back in the second half. And you're like, oh, well, there's the team that we remember. So I think both of them should be playing at a pretty high level coming to this Monday night game. They both need victories. Obviously, Indy loses, Philly wins last week. So Indianapolis needs to pull off a victory here. They're playing at home. I got to go with Indy to take Philly. I like Andrew Luck. He's something about him. He's good at coming back in games. We could see maybe Philly jump out to an early lead, and finally Indy comes back and wins this one.
It's a tactic. It's Andrew Luck does that on purpose. He lets the other team get the lead, puts him right where he wants him. Yeah. Now, like you said, this is a win that Indy needs. If somehow Indy loses this game at home to Philly, who's a good team here, they go to 0-2 in that division where now all of a sudden Tennessee looks like maybe they're a contender with the new coach. You know, their division is not loaded here. Jacksonville, nothing special. We all know Houston is not going to win any Super Bowls this year. But you can't go 0-2. Mike, what do you think here? This is going to be a challenge for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, I think it is going to be challenging for the Colts. But I think, they can possibly pull it off here in a comeback. I think Philadelphia is going to be, out in front at the beginning. And then we're going to see Andrew Luck pull off one of his patented comebacks.
On Monday Night Football. Be pretty special.
And I think we'll see them pull off a win.
The thing about Philly, though, guys, is they really can pull this angle of, how nobody believes in them at all because they barely squeaked out a victory against Jacksonville, so a lot of people are doubting them, but the bottom line is they won, and they scored 34 points. One guy we're all really high on, Darren Sproles, showed that he is going to make some huge plays like we thought, and that makes them a very good team here, but their defense did not impress whatsoever. Indy's offense is going to take advantage of that. The stadium's going to be rocking, and I think that's going to be Philly's downfall in this game, is Indy's just going to outscore. I would definitely take the over in this game. Don't see a ton of defense. But I'm really interested to see how Nick Foles looks because all of a sudden he's a huge question mark. He kind of panicked last week. We were questioning him, and this is going to be a tough challenge. Indy's got good defensive backs here.
Yeah.
Vontae Davis, who's actually Vernon Davis's brother, so it's a pretty cool player there for Indianapolis. Without Robert Mathis for the season, their front seven is not going to scare anybody. So, like Philly, their defense is not going to be that special. I'm just looking for Nick Foles here, Kyle, to do something on a big stage because if he goes into panic mode again, red flags are flying everywhere.
Oh, of course, but we saw Nick Foles turn it on in the second half of that game last week, and I believe that's what we're going to see again. Their offense is explosive, man. We saw Macklin show off his talents again. We know that he's good. If he can stay healthy, it's a big weapon for him as well. So I like what I see from the Eagles' offense. Obviously, McCoy hasn't even broken open yet, so that's all it takes. If McCoy's having that kind of day where he's able to get into the secondary and wreak havoc, they're probably going to win the game. But I just don't see him being able to have that success against this Indy defense. They will allow some points, but I think they'll be able to at least keep Philly in check long enough for their offense to come through because. You got to look at this Colts passing game, man. Maybe one of the tops of the league as far as passing threat team.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. They added Hakeem Nicks here. They have the two tight ends healthy. Dwayne Allen had the big splash play last week. You give Andrew Luck these tools, he's going to flourish. You see so many of these good quarterbacks, these young quarterbacks that are growing, and the teams don't give them the weapons they need. Look at a Carolina Panthers, where you just don't give enough weapons. You do add Kelvin Benjamin, but it takes more than just one legit weapon here. That's not the case here in Indianapolis for Andrew Luck. He's loaded. Now Reggie Wayne's back. I think Reggie Wayne's actually going to turn into the number one wide receiver on the team, which is going to put T.Y. Hilton into a number 2 role, which really suits him perfectly if you look at it.
Yep.
Hakeem Nicks is a number 3. If he can stay healthy and try to do anything like we've seen in the past, they have one of the best receiving corps in the league. We just mentioned Dwayne Allen. You add him with Kobe Fleener. Fleener's good with Andrew Luck just because they went to college together and they have that safety. You know that Andrew Luck trusts Coby Fleener, even though Dwayne Allen is probably the much better player. I'm going Indy. Kyle, you're going...
I'm going Indy, but to go with what you were saying there, their Achilles heel, though, is their running game. That it's still a question mark who their even running back's going to be.
If Bradshaw stays healthy,
much from them
he might be good.
Last week, this team should just say, screw it. We're just going to throw the ball every play. We're going to throw screen passes to these running backs. Maybe do a draw here or there and just really do what they did in that second half because they really started to open it up. I thought the same thing with Philly. Finally started to open it up. And so I am taking Indy to win this game at home.
And I know you're taking Indy as well, Mike.
Yes.
Thank you guys for joining us here for our Week 2 preview. Make sure to join us every Wednesday. We will post our weekly preview for every week this NFL season. And keep you informed on all the biggest news. I know right now there's a huge story going on that could reverse Wes Welker and Josh Gordon's suspensions. That could be big. I know we're looking at Joe Flacco. He has to deal with losing Ray Rice. We would talk about that, but frankly, I don't think it's going to hurt Baltimore too much. You know, whatever. Ray Rice was horrible last year, so we'll see what they can do. They have much bigger problems right now in Baltimore. Thanks again, guys, for joining us. Make sure to stay tuned. This was our inaugural week of our weekly NFL coverage. Hit us up in the comments. We will get back to you immediately if you have any questions or inquiries, and we'll definitely be improving every week for you guys. Stay tuned. We'll provide the best weekly football coverage on YouTube. I'm RJ for K-Mac and Mike. Stay tuned, and more importantly,
stay trippy.